Do you know why media violence can cause a loss of compassion in viewers? Stay tuned to find out on this edition of Do You Know? In part one of the award-winning documentary Think About It, Understanding the Impact of TV Movie Violence, released following the horrific shootings at Columbine High School, the film explored the question we are still asking today. Are we experiencing a loss of compassion and conscience among teens in America? As you will hear in a moment from a younger me, 20 years younger me to be exact. In assessing the violence among America's youth today, there is no doubt that there are many factors involved in the increase of teen violence, from broken homes to mental illness to the loss of moral values to drug and alcohol abuse, to easy access to guns to the increase in graphic media violence. For the purpose of this video, we will focus on the cause of violence that many researchers and activists believe is controllable: the promotion and distribution of media violence that dehumanizes image bearers of God and desensitizes teens to violence. As we take a step back into history, it's important to note the series of school shootings that happened across the country in the 1997-98 school year were unprecedented and set off a chain reaction of debate to the cause and solution to the problem. We will now begin with part one.
We begin with children shooting at children. The unthinkable has happened again, this time in a schoolyard in Arkansas.
This was the scene at Westside Middle School in Jonesboro, Arkansas, minutes after police say two heavily armed young men dressed in camouflage opened fire at students. It was about 12:41 local time, just after lunch.
It looks like right now when they started shooting at the children, 13 children got hit.
Students, teachers, and others are stunned.
Whether it's in the television programs they watch, the movies they see, the language they use, the things they're exposed to, and the glorification of those things. I think we have to be angry at the very culture that helps to breed this kind of response in an 11-year-old child.
The first time you see someone shot, and knocked bloody, whatever, I can remember you have nightmares, it works in your gut, you feel terrible about it. You have compassion, but after so many shoot-em-ups and so many sluggings and fights and bloody scenes, then you can watch, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and laugh.
Children see some 8,000 murders and 100,000 acts of violence on television, and that's before they ever reach high school.
And so the desensitization, which steals the human compassion, that's why people are able to stand on a street corner and watch a victim of a gang shooting more or less compassionless.
Pearl, Mississippi. 2 students are killed and 7 wounded when a 9th grader fires into a school crowd. The accused gunman is 16 years old.
There's a tendency for all of us to be a little rebellious in our spirit, and films can bring out the worst in us, by making entertainment out of anti-police, anti-parent, anti-government, anti-school. And it can be very destructive in how our children react later on in life.
The scene was eerily familiar. The shots were fired at a middle school dance. A teacher dead, 3 others injured. The suspect, an 8th grader.
We were just staying there, and then this gunshot, this bang went off, and we just automatically thought it was a balloon popping, but then when everyone said get down.
Prosecutors say they will charge 14-year-old Andrew Jerome Worst as an adult, although police say they still don't know the suspect's motive.
This is the new face of crime in America. Crime without reason, crime without remorse. It used to be that there was a motive for crime when it was committed. It was greed, or it was avarice, or it was anger, or it was passion. Today, it's sport. It's fun.
The scene was chaotic when police arrived at Thurston High School last Thursday. 24 people had been shot or injured when 15-year-old suspect Kip Kinkle was subdued and taken into custody.
And what is happening is we are not cultivating conscience in children, and so we are growing up with a generation of 12-year-olds who are out in the street with pistols shooting one another because they never have had the conscience cultivated in their homes.
In assessing the violence among America's youth, there is no doubt that parents, schools, and communities must assume the responsibility of cultivating the consciences of the next generation.
Although there are many factors involved in the increase in teen violence, from broken homes to loss of moral values to drug and child abuse, the focus of this program will be on the following premise. What is Hollywood's role in inciting teen violence? According to the comprehensive study in Watching America, since 1955, television characters have been murdered at a rate 1,000 times higher than real-world victims. For example, when I was in high school, the most popular TV crime drama was Miami Vice. The two cop heroes killed 43 people in 18 episodes. That's 5 times as many people as the entire Miami police force killed in 1 year. In light of these statistics, we decided to interview actors, writers, directors, and stuntmen to discover what their view is on Hollywood's responsibility.
What do you think? Was that new information? Do you think the loss of compassion and conscience in America has gotten worse over the past 20 years? Or are people showing a greater compassion and love for their fellow image bearers today? As you prepare to discuss these questions with your teacher and classmates, as well as answer the questions that correspond with part 1 of Think About It, consider these words from King David. I will not set before my eyes anything that is worthless. And stay tuned for part 2 as we explore the debate of whether or not TV movie violence is a major cause of real-life violence. Don't hesitate to email me your questions at doyouknow@idleadershipforum.org. Thanks for joining us, and remember, never be afraid to share what you know, but always do it with gentleness and respect, treating others as fellow image bearers of God.